So in yesterday's class, we were doing some problems which are based on gravitation, right? Okay. So let's do some problems which are based on topic 3, which is motion of satellites. Okay. So let's start with the first problem. Okay. So guys, read it. Topic 3, it is based on motion of satellites, right? So there is a test particle which is moving in a circular orbit in the gravitational field produced by mass density rho r is equal to k divided by r square. So identify the correct relation between the radius r of the particle's orbit and its period t. Okay. So by looking at this question, what comes to your mind? See, let's say there is a capital mass M. Okay. We don't know what is the shape of this capital M. Did they say it is symmetrical in a circular orbit produced by mass density rho as a function of r is equal to k divided by r square. So in yesterday's class, we discussed, right? Whenever you see these kind of problems, what are we supposed to involve? Guys, what are we supposed to involve?
Calculus.
Yes, you have to include calculus, involve calculus, right? So how are we going to involve calculus here? Since here it is k divided by r square, I am assuming it is something in the form of a symmetrical one. So a symmetrical shape that we can think of is like a sphere, okay, where the mass is completely present inside. Am I right, guys? So produced by mass density rho of r is equal to S. So in the spherical part, let's say the density is changing from point to point where it is calculated as a function of r. Now comes an important question. If this particle, the tiny particle, has to be in a circular orbit, what is the necessary force? It is again the centripetal force, right? So it is mv square divided by, let's say, so how much should we take this distance as? What is this capital R? Between the radius r of the particular orbit. Okay. So this is the radius r. So mv square divided by capital R is equal to, you guys tell me what should be the expression on the other side.
G m1 m2 by r square.
Okay. G into small m into, what can you write for the value of capital M? That is a question, right? That is what we need to think of. Capital M divided by r square. Does this make sense? Where capital M is the mass of this so-called objects whose density is varying with respect to distance, by capital M. So small m is going to get cancelled, r will get cancelled. V square is equal to G divided by R into, what can I write in the place of capital M, guys?
So integral of density into volume.
Is it going to be integral of density into volume? Okay, I'll tell you another way to think also. See, had the denominator, we don't know anything. See, here the question is slightly ambiguous, but have this in your mind. If I assume k to be a dimensionless constant, the denominator is r square, right? So does this density rho represent volume density or areal density?
Areal density.
It should be areal density, right? So it should be something related to area,
Oh,
right?
then
It will be
area
rho into area of a spherical part, that is
4 pi r
4 pi. So what r should I use? Should I use the
capital.
variable? See, understand one thing, capital R is fixed.
Oh, sorry, variable. And then
Yes,
integrate
4
between
pi r square into dr. Can I write it like this?
Yes, sir.
Okay. So integral of this. So v square will be equal to g divided by r into, okay, g divided by r into integral of rho into, what are all the parameters I can take out? So where should I integrate r from? Small r will be integrated from 0 to capital R, right? So 4 pi rho into integral of r square will be r cube divided by 3. This and this will get cancelled. So v square will be equal to 4 pi g into rho. It is 4 pi g into rho r square the whole divided by 3. Is there anything that I missed? Now the important question that I
rho k by r square integration substitute.
Sorry?
Sir, why didn't you substitute rho equal to k by r square in the integration?
Did I miss it?
Yes.
Or? Okay. I'm sorry. One minute. So here rho is k by r square. So v square will be equal to how much? G divided by capital R into integral of k divided by small r square into 4 pi r square into dr. Right now, is it fine? So 0 to capital R, r square. So now nothing is missed, right? K is a constant. So v square is equal to g divided by r into 4 pi k into integral of... Am I not audible? Oh, I'm not sharing my screen. Okay. No, see. Right? 4 pi k into integral of dr. This will be g by r into 4 pi k into integral of dr will be capital R. This is v square. Okay. Are you guys clear with this point? So the reason why I found the velocity here is, see, the problem gave me two ideas. One is circular orbit. Wherever I see circular orbit, the first thing that comes to my mind is centripetal force. Okay. Secondly, they asked about the time period. For me to calculate the time period will be equal to the circumference divided by speed. So that is why I needed speed here. So 2 pi into capital R divided by, what is the value of V, guys? 4 pi G into K. So what are they asking? The relation between the radius of the particle. Okay. So if you observe 2 pi, this will go 2 times. So 2
Sir,
into G
V square is 4 pi GK.
Okay. Then it should be a square root, right? So it is 2 pi R divided by root of 4 pi GK. Is this fine? Okay, now what I will do is T by R is equal to, I'm not cancelling anything on right hand side because the question is not about finding the value. They asked what is the relation between T and R. So what can you say? This whole side is a constant. So T divided by R is equal to constant. So option number 4 is the right answer. Guys, are you able to understand?
Yes, sir.
Okay, make a note of it. If you're done, let me know. We'll go to the next problem. Are you done?
Yes, sir.
Okay. So two satellites A and B have masses m and 2m respectively. A is in circular orbit of radius r, B is in circular orbit of radius 2r around the Earth. The ratio of their kinetic energies Ta by Tb. Here T represents kinetic energy. One minute, guys. You guys can start doing it. Again, the hint here is, what word is important here? So two satellites A and B have masses m and 2m respectively. A is in a circular orbit of radius small capital R. B is in a circular orbit of radius 2r around the Earth. So what is the kinetic energy of A? It is half mass of A into velocity of A square. Can I write it like this? TB is equal to half into mass of B into velocity of B square. Right? Now what can we do? So according to the question, mass of A and mass of B are known, but what is not known? VA square is not known. Similarly, VB square is also not known. Right? So how do we calculate them, guys? See, it is like this. The idea I'm getting, no? Yeah, somebody unmuted. Tell me.
Sir, the same thing only, sir. Centripetal force is equal to force of attraction போட்டு V square கான
Yeah.
will get a expression.
Yeah, you can do that. That's what I was thinking of. Good. So MA into VA square divided by R is equal to G into capital M into MA divided by R square. Can I write it like this? So MA will get cancelled. R is gone. So in the place of TA, that is in the place of MA VA square, what can I write? Okay. I need not cancel MA. When I don't cancel MA, what do I get? MA VA square is like
by R.
GM into MA divided by R. Right? That is the value of TA. Then what will be the value of TB in a similar format? G capital M into MB divided by
2R.
That's it. Take the ratio, you're done.
Sir, MA and MB அதுக்கு ratio இருக்கு sir.
No, and then MA is M divided by
2M.
So this 2 will go up. This 2 will also be here. 2M by 2M will be equal to 1. You have an option? Yes. First, the fourth option. Guys, I hope you understood. MA is M. This 2 went up. That is why I wrote it as 2M. Divided by MB is again 2M. So the ratio of kinetic energies is 1. Right? I hope it's easy. Shall I proceed to the next one? A satellite is revolving in a circular orbit at a height h from the Earth's surface such that h is very much less than r, where r is the radius of the Earth. Assuming that the effect of Earth's atmosphere can be neglected, the minimum increase in the speed required so that the satellite could escape from the gravitational field of the Earth. I think we did a similar problem yesterday, right? So what is the answer? Root of gr into root 2 minus 1, because they're asking the increase in velocity. Escape velocity minus orbital velocity. Escape velocity is root 2 capital GR. Orbital velocity is root GR. Take out root GR. Root 2 minus 1 will be the answer. Right. Next. A satellite is moving with a constant speed v in a circular orbit around the Earth. An object of mass m is ejected from the satellite such that it escapes from the gravitational pull of the Earth. At the time of its ejection, the kinetic energy of the object will be. Okay. Satellite is moving with a constant speed in a circular orbit around the Earth. There is a satellite. It's moving with a constant speed v. An object of mass m is ejected from the satellite such that it escapes the let's say it is v dash. It escapes from the gravitational pull. At the time of ejection, the kinetic energy of the object must be. So how to go with it, guys? Ejected from the satellite such that it just escapes from the gravitational pull of the Earth. So let's say this is the initial value, this initial condition. So when they say escape velocity, what comes to our mind? The velocity should be given in such a way that its energy at the end is going to be the same. So how do we derive the escape velocity? See, generally when an object is projected from the surface of Earth, how do we calculate the escape velocity? Half into m into v square minus g into capital M into small m divided by r is equal to how much? Is equal to 0. Right, m and m will get cancelled. V will be equal to root of 2 times gm divided by r. You guys remember this? In a similar way, we need to understand what is going to be this value of velocity, because the difference is we derived this value of root of 2 gm by r from the surface of Earth, or for that matter from the surface of any planet. So here I need to know what is the gravitational pull that is acting. So how to proceed with this? So can I I'm getting an idea from the statement that I've written here, guys. Tell me if you're able to understand or not. So this statement which I've written here is telling me total energy at any point is 0. Because what I've applied is conservation of energy. If you observe the left-hand side, that is the total energy, half m into v square minus gm into small m divided by r is equal to right-hand side is what? It is 0. So can I say that the total energy at any point is 0? So whenever you are having escape velocity concept, you need to apply this. Does this make sense, guys?
Yes, sir.
Right. Now comes an important point. I need to know what is the energy of the satellite here. So how do I calculate it? Let's see. If I calculate the kinetic energy of satellite, okay, if I calculate the kinetic energy of satellite, it is coming out as half mv square. Okay, but that's not the answer, because half mv square is just given. Okay, let's think. Kinetic energy of the satellite is half mv square, but they're asking what is the kinetic energy of the object, right? Now, what is going to be the potential energy of satellite at this point?
minus GMM by R.
See, minus GMM divided by what R?
So
Here,
the
the challenging part is I don't know what this distance R is. Right, I need to know what is this distance R. I'm just thinking if there is any information given, but it is not given. So minus GMM divided by small r.
Sir, you actually won't need it, sir. You won't
Sorry?
need what?
I
Sir,
won't
you
need
can
what?
sir, you can actually apply that formula that half mv dash square minus gmm by small r equal to 0.
By small r equal to 0. But this is going to give me only potential energy, no? They're asking what is the velocity of the kinetic energy of the object. If the kinetic energy of the object has to be
Sir, you
taken,
can
then
write that in terms of m and v, no, sir, the potential energy. Because then you'll get the answer, I believe.
which one you want me to write in terms of M and V?
Sir, the potential energy, sir. Like v
This one.
வந்து sir, v வந்து the orbital velocity தானே, sir.
Yes, orbital velocity. Let me try. So half mv dash square. So half mv square. So v square is how much? Okay, let's write it like this and see, no? So half mv square. See, I'm talking about satellite. I'm not talking about object, okay? For the satellite, what comes into picture? mv square. Oh, you're saying we can find it from here. mv square by r is equal to g capital M into small m divided by r square. Right? Is this what you're trying to say?
Yes, sir.
Okay. So R is equal to G capital M divided by V square. Let this be equation number 1. Now for the object, what can I write? For the object, half mv dash square minus G capital M into small m divided by R is equal to 0. So I need to find V dash in terms of V. So GM divided by, okay, I will do it like this. So this is like this, half m v dash square. Here I'm not cancelling m, okay? Minus G capital M into small m divided by, the place of R, what can I write? Gm divided by V square. So this and this will get cancelled, will be equal to 0. So half mv dash square minus mv square will be equal to 0. Tell me, what is this thing? Guys, did you understand what I did?
Yes, sir. Same thing you applied.
Same thing I applied. So here the only thing is you should not get confused between the data that is given. They've given the velocity of the satellite, but they have not given the mass of the satellite. Okay, if I call the mass of the satellite as ms, then here ms will get cancelled, so that I found what is the orbit, radius of the orbit in which it is revolving. And for the object, what I did is I applied this concept. The total energy should be equal to 0. So total energy is nothing but kinetic energy of the object plus the potential energy of the object. Potential energy by default has a minus sign in it. So in the place of R, I substituted this. So when I did this, I got kinetic energy of object is equal to how much value? mv square. So what is the answer? It is mv square. Is it clear? Is there anything confusing?
No, sir.
Okay. So answer is m into v square. It is not half mv square. Whereas if they ask what is the kinetic energy of satellite, then things would have been different. What is the kinetic energy of satellite? It is not possible for us to find in this question because its mass is not given. Okay. So remaining problems you can try. Now we will try the problems which are based on Kepler's law. Okay. So this will be the last part of this chapter. I hope you guys remember what are the laws of Kepler, right? So there are three laws, right? What does the first law state? The first law states, or the first law is also called as the law of orbit. So what does this mean? Every planet revolves around the sun in an elliptical orbit where the sun is concentrated where? Where is the sun placed? Where sun is said to be at one of the foci. Okay. So the point which is close to the sun is called as perihelion, and the point which is away from the sun is called as aphelion, or it is sometimes called as apogee. The one which is close is also called as perigee. Okay. So this is the first point. Second, it speaks about the law of area. So what does law of area mean? If you have the radius vector from the sun to the planet, right? The radius vector drawn from the sun to the planet sweeps out equal areas in equal intervals of time. It sweeps out equal areas in equal intervals of time means the rate at which the area is being covered is always a constant, and it is based on what law? The law of areas itself is derived from some other law. What is that? It is based on law of conservation of. Can someone complete it? It is based on the law of conservation of angular momentum. So dA divided by dt is equal to L divided by 2m. This is what is the law of area. Right? And the third, it's called as the law of period. So what does it state? There's a very, very important one. This is the one based on which we solve all the problems. The square of the time period of revolution of the planet around the sun is directly proportional to the cube of the semi-major axis of the elliptical orbit. So from this origin, if you take this distance to be a, which is the semi-major axis, then t square is directly proportional to a cube. This is what is called as law of period. Right? Guys, I hope you know all these points. Let's apply it in problems. Is there any doubt?
No, sir.
Okay. So we'll proceed with the last topic, that is Kepler's law and its applications. Similarly, what you can do is you can try out the remaining problems from here. See, topic 3, you can try all these problems. If there is any doubt, you can let me know. Okay, now I'm starting the first problem. If the angular momentum of a planet of mass m moving around sun in a circular orbit L about the center of the sun, then its areal velocity is given as. Just now we saw.
Sir, L
L
by
by
2m.
2m.
L by 2m. So dA by dt is what is called as areal velocity. So where is it? It is L divided by 2m. Okay. So can someone tell me how it has actually come? It's better, because from that, if they ask any part, it will be easy for you to answer. So how did you get this areal velocity? Anybody? So the planet is moving around the sun in a circular orbit, right? So let's say the sun is at the center, the planet is here, then this is the radial vector, it sweeps out some area. Let's call that area as dt because you're trying to find the instantaneous value. You're finding dA by dt, right? If this distance is r, this distance is also taken as r. Now tell me how to proceed. So what is required? You need dA by dt. So for that, I will do one thing. I will find dA in terms of d theta. Can you tell me what is the value of dA in terms of d theta? It's very simple. For
d theta
yeah,
by 2 pi into pi r square.
so how did you get that?
3 theta by 360, that thing, sir.
Same thing. So for an angle of 2 pi radians, the area covered is pi r square. For dA, the area covered is d theta. So dA will be equal to, as you told, d theta divided by 2 pi into pi r square. So pi and pi will get cancelled. So dA is equal to this value. Now I need dA by dt. So differentiating on both sides. Okay. dA dA will be equal to d theta by 2 into r square. So I will differentiate on both sides. dA by dt is equal to r square by 2 into d theta by dt. Can I write it like this? So I need dA by dt. But I need dA by dt in terms of what? In terms of angular momentum and the mass of the object. So how to solve? R square by 2 into, what is dA by dt, guys? Sorry, what is d theta by dt? Rate of change of angular displacement is angular velocity. It is omega into r square, right? Now, how do I get angular momentum from r square omega?
So multiply and divide by m.
That's it. Multiply and divide with m. Your work is done. So m r square omega is nothing but angular momentum divided by 2. Got it? Anyways, you can remember this, but I just wanted to explain how it has come. Okay. Shall we move on to the next one? Now see. A particle is moving with a uniform speed. A particle is moving with a uniform speed in a circular orbit of radius capital R in a central force inversely proportional to the nth power of R. If the period of revolution of the particle is capital T, then T is proportional to R in what formula? So first tell me, how do we proceed? So time period of a satellite, time period of this particle is equal to, in what it is revolving again in a circular orbit. Time period will be 2 pi r divided by v. But how do we calculate v? Circular orbit, only one formula. mv square divided by capital R is directly proportional to, or I can write it like this. See, I cannot write G capital M into M divided by R power N because we don't know what is the relation between their masses. There is some force they have defined. If something like this exists, what is going to happen? That's what their question is. So it will become R power N minus 1. So V square is equal to, or I can say V square is directly proportional to 1 by R power N minus 1. And V is proportional to 1 by R power N minus 1 the whole divided by 2. Take this and substitute it here. So T will be directly proportional to 1. T will be directly proportional to R into R power N minus 1 by 2. Why I wrote R power N minus 1 by 2 in the numerator here is because V is inversely proportional to R power N minus 1 by 2. And it is also inversely proportional to T. Okay. So what will be the value? T will be directly proportional to R power N minus 1 by 2 plus 1. So it will be R power N plus 1 the whole divided by 2. Okay. So this is when you approach directly. Can you tell me a shortcut to solve this problem? Suppose, let's say you didn't get any idea in the exam hall. How are you going to solve this problem? See, what does Kepler's law state? T square is directly proportional to R cube. Can I write it like this? Because when ellipse has been converted to a circular object, the semi-major axis will become the radius of the circular path. Correct? T square is directly proportional to R cube, where in this case, the force is inversely proportional to R square. So if you take N is equal to 2 and substitute it in all the equations and see, you will get the answer. Because T is directly proportional to R power 3 by 2. Take N is equal to 2 and substitute it in this one. You will get T is directly proportional to R, eliminated. T is directly proportional to R power 3 by 2, eliminated, because it is only for the value of N is equal to 2. T is directly proportional to N by 2 plus 1. So if you take N as 2, 1 by 2, sorry, 2 by 2 plus 1, this is also rejected. So this is the only answer. Did you understand? Is it clear, guys?
Yes, sir.
Yes, sir.
Good. So make a note of it. We'll proceed to the next problem. So the binary star concept is not there. Next. If the distance between the Earth and the Sun were half its present value, the number of days in a year would have been. There's like a CBSE question. How to do this? If the distance between the Earth and Sun were half its present value, number of days in a year would be. So since they're like perfect numbers, you need not worry about those numbers because now they will ask in terms of general values. But how to solve this problem? We know that T square is directly proportional to
Cube.
I'll write it as R cube. So can I write it as T1 by T2 the whole square is equal to R1 by R2? Sorry, R1 by R2 the whole cube. So T1 will be 365 divided by T2 is what we need to find. The whole square is equal to, if I take R1 as R, R2 will be 2R, the whole power 3. Correct? R and R will get cancelled. So 365 by T2 will be equal to 1 by 2 the whole power 3 by 2. One by 2 the whole power 3 by 2. From this you can calculate the answer. So T2 will be equal to 365 into, it is square root of 8, that will be 2 root 2. So from this you can calculate the answer. Okay. Now try the fifth one. Imagine a light planet revolving around a very massive star in a circular orbit of radius capital R with a period of revolution t. If the gravitational force of attraction with the planet and the star is proportional to R power minus 5 by 2, then...
Sir. Pona question, 365 into 2 root 2 doesn't come in the options, sir.
Doesn't come, no? It is 730 into more, right?
Yeah, yes,
730 to root 2. Yeah, there is no option. So T1 square, that's what they told, no? Half of its present value. That's what I took. The distance between the Earth and the Sun were half of its present value. R2 is R by 2. Then it should be 2 power 3. I made a mistake.
Oh, so 365 by 8.
Yes, just pi 2 root. Okay, wait. R na, this will be R by 2, correct?
Yes, sir.
Then it will be, yeah, now it is fine.
By 2 root, okay.
2, then this will become by 2 root. So 365 into root 2 divided by 4. 4 na, it will be 9 into something. You can try this and see. Okay. Let's do the fifth one, guys. So the fifth one is actually
answer
similar.
129, sir.
129, okay.
Sir.
Okay. Fifth one. Imagine a light planet revolving around a very massive star in a circular orbit of radius r with a period of revolution capital T. The gravitational force of attraction between the planet and the star is proportional to r power minus 5 by 2. Then, is it not similar to this problem? Only value is n is how much? N is minus 5 by 2. Just substitute and see, you'll get the answer. No, sorry, n is not minus 5 by 2. N should be 5 by 2, correct? And I see, are you able to understand? I'm just trying to relate both and see. Because I just want to see if it is a repeated format of question. So between these two, if you see, in the second one, they told the force is inversely proportional to r power n. Whereas in the fifth one, they told it is directly proportional to r power minus 5 by 2. So it will be inversely proportional to 5 by 2. So n value is how much? 5 by 2. substitute and see, you'll get the answer. Or else you can actually solve it itself in 2 minutes. So how to proceed, guys? Same logic. It is the same logic, no? So force is inversely proportional to, or force is force, that is mv square divided by capital R, is directly proportional to R power minus 5 by 2. Then V square will be directly proportional to R power minus 5 by 2 into R is R power minus 3 by 2. I think there is no option, right? Okay, that's what I was saying. See, I substituted n is equal to 5 by 2 here and so. Listen, the difference between this question and this one is, here they have asked t, here they have told t square. So t is directly proportional to R power n plus 1 by 2 means t square will be directly proportional to R power n plus 1. So if this kind of a question comes in the exam, no, you can use this like a formula, provided the force should be inversely proportional to R power n. Here in this question, it is directly proportional, the fifth one. So t square will be directly proportional to R power 5 by 2 plus 1. So t square will be directly proportional to R power 7 by 2. That is the answer. Guys, is there any doubt on that?
No, sir.
Good. So remaining problems are 97, 90. See, I suggest you to do these kind of problems also, because mostly what they will do, they might repeat it also with the data change, or sometimes you'll get a direct question itself. So what you can actually practice is, you can also try some questions from exam called AAEE. Okay, those questions are getting repeated again and again. Okay, so with this, actually, we are done with this chapter. Now, what we will do is we'll do some miscellaneous problems, then we can wind up.
Sir, JEE ஏதோ 4 attempts சொல்லிருக்காங்க சார்.
Edra?
JEE 4 attempts ஆமே சார் this year.
Yeah, that's what they have told. பார்க்கலாம். இன்னும் officially no announcement has come. No? 4 attempts எங்க time இருக்கு? 4 attempts எங்கடா time இருக்கு first? See, you people will complete it in March. No, I'm not sure if they are going to implement it for you guys. That's what you see. No clarity is there. Last year, this is what happened. For the crash course guys, no, that is for the people who completed in 2020 March. Students who have completed in 20, you know that, right? The last exam was not conducted, computer science.
Yes, sir. Average exam.
Average exam. So 2020, when they completed in March, I trained them in the month of June. Till September, there was no clarity on what is going to happen. Bits and all, like it was kept on getting postponed. Okay, well,
Yes,
so
sir.
nothing is sure. But hopefully you will not have this problem, because I think vaccine will come off. Okay. But whatever it is, don't worry about 4 attempts. Like, you be mentally prepared that you're going to write it in the month of April. That's it. Okay.
Yes, sir.
As a target, I would say prepare. So 4 identical particles of mass capital M are located at the corners of a square of side A. What should be their speed if each of them revolves under the influence of others' gravitational field in a circular orbit circumscribing the square? So there are 4 identical particles, each of mass each of mass capital M which are placed at the vertices of a square, okay, of side A, what should be their speed? If I take the speed here as V, what should be their speed if each of them revolves under the influence of the gravitational field, influence of others' gravitational field in a circular orbit circumscribing the square? So if a particle has to revolve in a circular orbit, it needs centripetal force. So who is providing the centripetal force? Okay, let's do one thing. Let's name them and take one of the particles into consideration and observe what is happening with that. The same thing will happen with other particles also. So if I take the center as O, what will be the direction of net force experienced by A due to the remaining particles? What will be the net force experienced by A? So A is here, B is here, D is here, and C is here. Okay. So capital M, capital M, capital M, capital M. So what is the distance between A and D? This distance is A. Similarly, this distance is A. And what is the distance between A and C? That is root 2A. Due to the mass at point B, the mass at point A will get attracted. Due to the mass at point D, the mass at point A will again get attracted. So what is going to be the force? It will be G capital M square, G capital M square divided by A. Am I right? Similarly, here also it is.
So by A square or rather?
Oh, sorry, I wrote potential energy. Yeah. Gm square divided by A square. Correct? Now? So this force will be Gm square divided by root 2A square. That will be 2A square. Correct? So all are attractive forces and they are central forces. They've lagged along the line joining them. Yes. And the center is here. Don't forget that. Center is here. So what I need to do is, can I say that the net force experienced by A is equal to centripetal force? But what is going to be the net force experienced by A? Each force is in a different direction. So we will try to resolve them. How much is going to be this angle? Since it's square, what is the angle between AD and AB? The angle between AD and AB.
90 degrees.
90. Since this force and this force are same, the resultant of these two will be an angular bisector. Here it will be 45 degrees. Right? So let me call this force as F, this also as F. So what are all the forces that are acting towards the center? F cos 45, and there is another F cos 45, and there is another force F dash. So what is F cos 45, guys? Gm square divided by root 2a square plus gm square divided by root 2a square plus F dash is gm square divided by 2a square. Right? This is one F cos 45, this is one F cos 45. This is the F dash force. So gm square divided by a square into 1 by root 2 plus 1 by root 2 plus half. So it will be root 2 plus root 2 plus 1, the whole divided by 2. I took LCM, gm square by a square into 2 root 2 plus 1 divided by 2. So this is the net force, but I told you the net force experienced by A should be equal to the centripetal force. Centripetal force is m into v square divided by the distance between A and O. How much is it? It is half of root 2A. So it is A by root 2. This and this will get cancelled. They're asking velocity only, no? What should be their speed? Yes, speed is v square. Again, A and A will get cancelled. V square will be equal to 2 root 2 plus 1 divided by 2 into gm divided by A into root 2. So 2 root 2 into root 2 is 8 plus root 2, the whole divided by 2 into gm divided by A. This is the value of v square. So 8 plus 1.414 is 9 point something divided by 2 is root 4.5 something. So v square will be equal to
go to the denominator, sir. You know,
எங்க root 2 denominator போகும் இங்கயா
இந்த root 2 v square இருக்கு அதே நீங்க v square by 2 mv square divided by a by root 2 னா அது root 2 v square ஆயிடும்.
Okay. So it will be 2 root 2. இது fine.
Yes.
Okay. So that will be 2 root 2 means 1 plus 1 by 2 root 2. With this you can calculate it. See, generally by this year's knowledge you would have understood 1 by root 2 is nothing but 0.707. RMS value, right? So 0.707 divided by 2 is 0.375 something. The remaining part you can calculate. Let's see if there is an approximate answer that we can. So everything is in terms of decimal. But I hope you understood the concept, right? That's calculation part, I'm leaving it to you. Is there any doubt in the concept that you have?
No, sir.
Okay. Shall I move on to the next one? So try to do the second one. The mass and the diameter of a planet are 3 times the respective values for Earth. The period of oscillation of a simple pendulum on Earth is 2 seconds. The period of oscillation of the same pendulum on the planet would be. Now tell me one thing. They're not talking about the time period of any particle revolving around the planet. They're talking about a simple pendulum. So what is the value on which the time period of a simple pendulum is dependent on? What is the value of a time period of a simple pendulum? T is equal to 2 pi root of L divided by G. So it is the acceleration due to gravity that is going to change from point to point. Right. So what is our objective in this problem? By using the data that they have given, our work is to find what is the acceleration due to gravity on the planet and that of Earth. So try to do. So what is the value of acceleration due to gravity? G is equal to capital G into capital M divided by R square, where capital M will be the mass of the planet, capital R will be the radius of that particular planet. So if I take GP, that is the acceleration due to gravity on the planet, G into the mass and the diameter of the planet are 3 times. So G into 3m divided by, what can I write in the place of R?
3/2.
The diameter is 3 times. So can I do something like this? Instead of R square, I will write it as 2R the whole square into 4. I'm just trying to derive a formula where 2R is what? Diameter square. So if you take the diameter square, it should be multiplied with 4. So my work will be easy, no? Did you understand what I did? Instead of taking the radius, that's what you also told, 3/2 you told, no? The same thing. So 3R square into 4. Similarly, the acceleration due to gravity on Earth will be how much? G into m divided by 2R the whole square into 4. So time period is inversely proportional to root G. The period of the oscillation of the same on the planet would be root of acceleration due to gravity on Earth by the planet. So time period on the planet divided by 2 is equal to root of the acceleration due to gravity on the Earth will be how much? 1/4, because all other parameters will get cancelled. GP will be 1/3. Square root of 3/4. So TP will be equal to root 3/2. This and this will get cancelled. TP is equal to root 3. There is no option. Wait, let me check again. Square root of GE will be 1 divided by 4 divided by, what I did is right only. Divided by divided by t square 9. Is there anything that I missed, guys? There is no option.
Sir, அது diameter 3 times sir. 600 இருக்கு பிளானெட்டுக்கு.
So the mass and the diameter are 3 times the respective values.
Adan sir, it's 3 times of the diameter, not the radius.
Okay, then it will be 6R, no? So we will have 3 divided by 3 divided by 36. That will be 1/12, correct? Now it is right. So it is 1/12. So it will become 3. So TP divided by TE is equal to root 3. So TP will be equal to 2 times root 3. There's an option, yes. Fortunately, we didn't have root 3, or else we would have gone with it. Thank you. So it is 3m divided by 6R the whole square. Sorry guys, I read it wrong. So it is the diameter of the planet. I hope everyone understood why I changed it to 6R. Because the diameter of Earth is 2R, so the diameter of the planet should be 6 times. So TP will be equal to 2 times root 3. Okay. So this one I will leave it to you. These numbers and all, you handle it. Okay. Fourth one. 4 particles each of mass capital M and equidistant from each other move along a circle of radius capital R under the influence of their mutual gravitational attraction, the speed of each particle. If you see, this question is 2014 main, 2019. Aren't they both the same? Right. Except the fact that in the first one, they told what is a shape. In the second one, they are indirectly telling that they are at the same distance. So it has to be a square. Okay, that's why the questions get repeated. Second, so this part, I hope fourth also you guys can do it, right? We have already done a similar kind of problem. So let's look at the fifth one. A simple pendulum has a time period T1 when it is on the surface of Earth, T2 when taken to a height R above the Earth's surface, where R is the radius of the Earth, then T2 by T1 is equal to. Again, in this case, time period is dependent on acceleration due to gravity. Unlike the second problem, so in the second problem, the acceleration due to gravity changed because the planet itself changed. But in the fifth one, what is happening? The planet is the same, but the heights are changed. So T1 by T2 is equal to root of G2 by G1. So T1 by T2 is equal to root of G2 is how much? When the object is taken to a height R above the Earth's surface, what is going to be the acceleration due to gravity? Here, do we need to use the approximated formula or the original one itself?
Sir, original sir, the approximate panta cancel.
That's not the reason. It is because it is taken to a height which is comparable to the radius of the Earth. See, when it is taken to a height capital R, it is a comparable value. It is not a small value. That is the reason you are not supposed to use the approximated one. So what is going to be the formula for it? Gm divided by 4r square. So it will become g by 4. So G2 will be G by 4 and G1 is G. Both these things will get cancelled. T1 by T2, what is the value? Where did that root 2 come from? Oh, they are just asking T2 by T1, no? It will be 1 by 2. So T2 by T1 should be 2. I hope you understood how I wrote this Gm by 4r square. Right? Next. So I think this should be an interesting problem. Let's say sixth one, a thin uniform annular disk. Annular means in between there is a break. You see the ones which you use for playing these movies and all. That is an annular disk actually. A thin uniform annular disk of mass capital M has outer radius of 4r and inner radius of 3r. The work required to take a unit mass from point P on the axis to infinity. They are indirectly asking you what is the potential energy. So how to solve, guys? How do we solve? The work required to take the unit mass from point P on its axis to infinity is. So what idea are you getting? So here work done will be equal to what? Can I say work done is nothing but the change in potential energy? That is nothing but the final potential energy minus initial potential energy. Final will be how much? Final will be how much, guys?
0.
Because it is taken to infinity. Yes, it is 0. Minus, what is the initial value? If I take it as ui itself, our work is only to find the value of ui and multiply it with the minus sign. Okay. So here there is a mass m. That is a point where the mass m is present. So yesterday I told you what is the relation between ui, or what is the relation between the potential energy and potential. So potential energy is equal to mass of the object into potential of the object at point P. Right? How do I calculate the potential at point P? So how do I calculate the potential at point P, guys? See, this question is slightly tricky because it involves a little bit of integration. See, generally, if I have a disk, okay, if I have a continuous disk, then if I need to solve any problem based on calculus, then tell me two important points. What kind of a density am I supposed to consider for a disk? What kind of a mass density are we supposed to consider for a disk? Is it linear density?
Surface.
It is surface density. Correct. Secondly, whenever I have a disk, for me to calculate the smaller mass, what I will do is I will take a small disk of thickness dr. Right. So how is the surface density defined as amount of the mass divided by the area, that is pi r square. So if I need to calculate the mass in the small portion, what do I do? dm will be equal to sigma into dr, correct? Oh, sorry, sigma into dr, correct? It is 2 pi r dr, correct? M divided by pi r square into 2 pi r dr. This is how you calculate the moment of inertia and all those things. M divided by r into 2 dr. Guys, are you able to understand the logic? This is for what? This is for what kind of an object? This is for a complete disk. But what is this problem saying? It's talking about an annular disk. Means this white color region, whichever you are able to see, has nothing. It has no mass. So it is not going to contribute to the potential. So how do I calculate the potential due to this mass? How do I calculate the potential due to this mass at point P? So what am I supposed to consider there? See, for a bigger disk, you consider a small disk of thickness dr. Okay, you consider a small disk of thickness dr somewhere in the place wherever mass was present. So here, what I can do is I can think of a disk like this. Of thickness, how much? The same dr. Can you guys tell me what is going to be the value of dm?
Sir, only the limits will change.
No, but not only the limits, something else will also change. What is that? See here, if R is the radius of the disk, the mass is distributed over the entire area. Here, what is the area? It is it not? So I'm using the same logic. Mass divided by the area of the disk. So here, what is the area of the disk? Pi into 4r the whole square minus pi into 3r the whole square. Now you understood why only that limit will not change. Because the mass is distributed only in this region. Arun, are you getting it? Into
Yes.
Into 2 pi r dr. Now this makes sense. Right? There is a value of dm. So how much is this value? M divided by 16 pi r square minus 9 pi r square. That is 7 pi r square into 2 pi r dr. So due to this dm, what is going to be the potential at point P? That is what we need to think of. So how much is this distance, guys? If I take this distance as x, see, whenever you take dm, no, dm is taken to be a point mass. What is the potential due to a point mass at a distance r from it? What is the potential due to a point mass at a distance r from it? It is minus g into small m. Can I say the potential due to the small mass at point P is dVp? Then it will be minus g into, can I write it as dm divided by x? This is a slightly tricky one. I want you all to concentrate because this will help you understand how to apply calculus also. If there is any doubt, please get it clarified. Minus g into dm divided by x. So that would be minus g into, what is the value of dm, guys? It will be m divided by 7 pi r square. Okay, I'll cancel pi, it's better. So minus g into 2 capital M divided by 7 r square into r dr. Can I write it like this? The whole divided by, what is the value of x, guys? Can you tell me what is the value of x? The distance from here till this point is r. And this is 4r. So x will be root of 16r square plus small r square. So this is the value of dVp. So if I want Vp, what should I do? Integrate what? Integrate this expression from where to where? Integral of r dr divided by root of 16r square plus r square from, tell me the correct limits. Let's see if you have understood. Where is the value of r varying from? Where is r starting for the disk? R for the disk is starting at 3r and it is ending at 4r. Is it tough, guys? Is it tough? Is there anything that you're not able to understand? Now it is your integration skills. How are we supposed to solve this? So root of 16r square plus r square and the numerator is r dr. Is there any relation between the denominator and numerator? If I take 16r square plus small r square as t, then 2r into dr will be equal to dt. So r dr will be equal to dt by 2. So minus 2gm divided by 7r into integral of dt by 2 by root t. Then what will happen to the limits? When the value of small r is 3r, then the value of t is how much? (25r square). When the value of r is 4r, what is the value of t? It's 4r square. So 32r
32.
square. So it is 25r square to 32r square. This 2 and 2 will get cancelled. Minus g capital M divided by 7r into integral of root t is nothing but 2 root t from 25r square to 32r square. So minus 2gm divided by 7r into root 32 minus 5 times r. This is the value of Vp. Root 32 is how much? 4 root 2. Minus 2gm divided by 7r into 4 root 2 minus 5 times r is what is the value of Vp. But what is that I need? Ui is equal to minus m into Vp. So it will be 2gm divided by, is r also getting cancelled? Let's see. Minus 2gm divided by 7 into 4 root 2 minus 5. Is there an option like this? I think r will not get cancelled. Did I miss something? Yes. The mistake is here it is 7r square. Is the concept clear, guys? I know it's a slightly lengthy problem, but it covers many concepts. So my 2gm divided by 7r into 4 root 2 minus 5. This is a very good problem. Is this clear?
Yes, sir.
Yes, sir.
Good. So I hope you made a note of it. Okay. So what I would suggest is, again, as you people ask me, since everybody has the books, you can try out problems which are involving calculus. See, you can understand where all calculus will get involved. If you're able to see something as a function of r, try to solve more of those kind of problems. Even if it is advanced problem, not an issue. Just try it. Okay, so that a part of the question solution might be a question that they will give in mains. Suppose generally advanced problem, if it involves more than 2 or 3 concepts, for mains it will be one of the concepts from that particular problem. That is how they frame questions. Okay, so try them so that you are comfortable with calculus. So if there is no other doubt, we can wind up. Just wait for a minute, guys.
Sir,
Yeah, tell me.
sir, this weekend can I come to collect the JEE books, sir?
You call me personally. I'll tell you.
Okay, sir.